The game never stops, and neither do we. Welcome to the SDH Network. We're always around the corner from everywhere. Morning Espresso is brought to you by Oglethorpe University, Atlanta's premier undergraduate learning experience and soccer powerhouse. Good morning, everybody. It's Thursday. It's January 22nd. I'm Jason Longshore. It's one of these mornings where everything is tightening up at once in the soccer world. Europe, Champions League, one match day from the knockout rounds. Atlanta's roster picture is actively shifting ahead of the MLS season. Miami pushing the envelope again, and Cup Magic showed up in Argentina in a way that only Cup Magic can. Let's start in Europe, where everybody is holding their breath after match day 7 of the UEFA Champions League. It closed. The league phase is exactly where UEFA hoped it would be. It's tense, it's congested, it's unresolved. There's one match week to go. Only Arsenal and Bayern Munich have really separated themselves. Everybody else has got work to do. And that's the point of what UEFA wanted this new league phase to do. 32 of 36 teams are still alive for the knockout round. The margin between comfort and crisis is now measured in goal difference. Wednesday, the results sharpened that picture even more. Barcelona, they had a comeback in Prague. That keeps them alive, but it also exposes the little margins. They also left with Pedri injured. We'll talk about that in a little more detail in a bit. That could shape their next month in both Champions League and in La Liga play. Juventus, they beat Benfica. They locked in at least a playoff place, but that's not even all that safe because you look at this group: Atleti, Manchester City, PSG, Tottenham Hotspur, Chelsea, Newcastle, Sporting, Atalanta. All of them are sitting on 13 points or fewer. There are 6 automatic spots still open behind Arsenal and Bayern. One dropped point next week could be the difference between skipping February or playing in a 2-leg survival fight in the knockout round, play-in round. One goal, one crazy moment, one deflection, one moment where you lose composure. Like, all of that is possible to change what your season looks like. We talked about Manchester City yesterday, the 3-1 loss to Bodo Glimt. That's what kind of result this format produces. You get these kinds of games where City's still alive, but they're no longer in control of their destiny. Liverpool are not either. Real Madrid are not either. Look, they know the same things. You win, you probably go straight through. You draw, you're watching tiebreakers. You lose, you're playing in February. So you look at January 28th. We look ahead, the final round of the league phase. All 18 matches, all at the same time, 3 p.m. Eastern time. PSG hosting Newcastle. Spurs at Frankfurt. Barcelona hosting Copenhagen. City hosting Galatasaray. Napoli at Chelsea. All of these games matter for qualification, for seeding, for bracket pass, for who avoids the playoff. This is going to be such a fun final day. Decision day in the Champions League is going to be absolutely ridiculous. You will want to have an around-the-corner lager, and you will want to be at the Brewhouse Cafe watching these games because it will be chaos everywhere. I mean, there will be crazy moments in one game that shifts the fortunes of 2 or 3 other teams. And remember, there's no Europa League parachute anymore. You are either into the knockout round proper, you are into the play-in round, or you are out and your European run is done. One match day left. No, pretty much no certainty. This is what this new Champions League was built to create. Let's bring it back home. Let's talk Atlanta United. Busy day yesterday on the calendar, on the roster, and on the rumor front. Let's start with the calendar, and we'll go to Atlanta United 2 in MLS Next Pro. They'll open on March 1st at New England Revolution to Decision Day, September 20th at Orlando City B. Kennesaw State University unavailable through mid-July due to being a host site for FIFA World Cup teams and training. The first 8 home matches of the Atlanta United 2 season will be played at the Turner Soccer Complex at the University of Georgia. This is where they played a couple of games last year over in Athens. All of those matches will be free to the public. Now, because of the stadium situations, the shape of the schedule is a little weird. The early season is very road heavy. 2 early home matches. Atlanta will then play 7 of its next 8 away. Then the calendar flips. 7 of 9 at home in June and July, including a rivalry match with Chattanooga FC on June 13th. And then a 3-match homestand against Crown Legacy, Toronto FC 2, and Inter Miami 2. Final home match is September 8th. 2 road matches to close out the year. Now, let's get caught up on the first team roster updates from this week. Caden Moore loaned to Philadelphia. The academy product, homegrown US U18 international, started quite a few matches with Atlanta United 2 last year, then went to Philadelphia Union 2 on loan. Now he's going to go to Philadelphia again for the 2026 season. Edwin Mosquera, the deal is done. He has been transferred to Independiente Santa Fe in Colombia. 63 appearances, 6 goals, 5 assists for the first team here in Atlanta. His move does open up a U22 initiative slot, which gives you some increased roster flexibility, some increased budget flexibility. Preseason is still ongoing. The team is training in Florida at the moment. Be on the lookout for an interview with Madison Cruz and I catching up with Matt Edwards tomorrow. That'll be posted on the SDH Network tomorrow afternoon. Now, the rumor front is always the fun stuff. Guido Rodriguez. According to Tom Bogert, Atlanta has opened preliminary exploratory talks with West Ham about Guido Rodriguez. Not a negotiation at the moment, although we'll see. 31 years old, 30 caps for Argentina. He was part of the World Cup winning squad in 2022, former anchor at Real Betis. He's at West Ham now. He's been linked with other reports with Valencia. I believe Villarreal was linked. I think River Plate was linked. He's been linked with quite a few clubs, but now Atlanta United is in that conversation, according to Tom Bogert and Herman Garcia Grova. Now, from Cesar Luis Merlo, the Elias Baez report. According to Merlo, he is going to play for Atlanta United. It's a verbal agreement that is done, $3 million, 3-year deal, option for 2 more. The fullback from San Lorenzo, will see where he fits in, if it's a left back, if it's a left wing back, depending on the shape. Player with a good bit of experience for San Lorenzo at a young age. I think if this one goes through and the Guido Rodriguez deal goes through, you're talking about South American talent coming in. That doesn't surprise anybody with Tata Martino back in charge of Atlanta United. It doesn't surprise anybody with Chris Henderson in charge on the player side of Atlanta United as well. I mean, I've had the conversations with Chris about, his admiration for the South American market and the players that you can get from there and what they've done in this league over time. I mean, Chris has seen it as a player and as an executive in this league from the beginning. South American players have always had a home in Major League Soccer. And both moves, along with the outgoing moves, kind of give you a good shape of the core strategy here. This is about long-term building. If Caden Moore goes to Philadelphia and does well, that's going to benefit you in the long term. Edwin Mosquera moving out, that opens up space to bring in somebody like Baez, who could be a left back for a longer period of time and compete with Dominic Chonqui over that long period of time and push Chonqui to get better. You could potentially play the two of them together, as we've seen with 2 left backs, with one playing left back, one playing wing back, one playing left wing. You can move the pieces around a little bit. I think at times we get really locked into players being one position and one position only. But this team is getting, in my opinion, grittier with these kind of moves if all of them come to fruition. That's something that's been needed. Miami, they are not slowing down. According to The Athletic, they have reached the agreement with Germán Berterame and Monterrey for the proposed $15 million transfer. That would put him in the top 10 in incoming transfers in MLS history. 27 years old, 68 goals at Monterrey, 27 goals in 2025 calendar year, 3 at the Club World Cup. He's already scoring in the Clausura in Mexico. Now, what was interesting in Tom Bogert's report at The Athletic is before they got the deal done with Berterame, they aimed maybe even higher. They aimed closer to home. They went to LAFC and they made a $13 million bid for Denny Boanga. LAFC said no immediately. Boanga's staying. But he wants a new contract in Los Angeles. So does this make it a little trickier for LA? Does it make it a little more of a challenge for LA? Does Boanga say, oh, wait a minute, maybe there are other opportunities out there? This could get really interesting. Anybody who's mad at Miami for trying to go get Boanga is crazy. I mean, you should absolutely try to go get great players if they're in your league. You should try to go get great players at all times. LAFC said no, that's fine. But Miami kind of pulling the Bayern Munich move here of trying to go get great players from other teams in your league and just saying, hey, come to us. Look, it's a strategy. I want to see what it does in the long term with LAFC and Denny Boanga. That's my focus right now. I'm very curious to see what the next steps are going to be between those two sides. Now, zoom out with Miami. Busquets retired. Alba retired. 2 designated player spots open to start all of this. Rodrigo de Paul, he becomes one of those. Berterame will become the other one when that deal gets finalized. You go out and you add Dane St. Clair, Mikael, David Ayala, Sergio Reguilon, Facundo Mura. You get Tadeo Ashende permanently and not as a designated player. This second era of Messi in Miami feels like it is about building a complete team. And again, to play off of what Jorge Mas has said, this is a team with ambition to go out and win CONCACAF, and this is a team with ambition to go out and compete in the FIFA Club World Cup. They're not satisfied with just being really good. They want to be the best. No problem with it. I am curious how Tadeo Ashende is not a designated player. I would love a breakdown on that. That's the only real question here in terms I think people are overdoing the anger about Miami. That's annoying in my opinion. The question is to go out and spend what we assume would be a pretty significant transfer fee to get Tadeo Ashende on a permanent deal and probably pay him a decent salary. How is he not a designated player? And that would be the question. Is the transfer fee backloaded, which means he'd be a designated player later? Is that, you can do that, I think. Is that what it is? I don't know. These are the kind of things with rules like this that are so complicated, you want just a little bit more explanation at times on it. And if they're finding their ways around it and they're putting together this great team for this run, good on them. That's what you should want if you're involved in this league, no matter where you are in the league. You should want every team to be looking at exploiting every opportunity to make their team better and to be aggressive. I'm all in favor of it. But that move for Denny Boanga, that's a fascinating one. That is a really interesting one because I wonder if it's going to have long-term effect in Los Angeles. We'll find out. Let's talk domestically across the board. We'll start with the U.S. women's national team. Trinity Rodman in camp, first time since April. Since the Olympics, she's been managing a recurring back injury. Played once for the U.S. women's national team since then. That match against Brazil, she scored 6 minutes in. Emma Hayes has been really clear. This camp's not about heavy minutes. It's about career management. It's about durability. She talked with the media about Trinity understanding her body, the daily maintenance, the other 22 hours of the day. She wanted to talk to her and I think make it clear to the media covering this team as well that for Trinity Rodman right now, it's about building a 10-year career. It's not just this window for the national team. Where's her next club situation going to be? How can she be healthier? How can she get the best out of her ability, which is elite? But how can she be in the best position to be elite on a regular basis? That's going to be the question for Trinity Rodman, along with where she plays this upcoming season. San Jose, Cruz Medina. The Earthquakes have loaned Medina to Chivas. Big club, high pressure, different culture. I like this international loan. I like Cruz Medina. I think he's a very talented player. But I like giving him time, stress testing a young player in Guadalajara. I like it. Minnesota have added Mauricio Gonzalez, a upside, pacey, project kind of player for the Loons. Building that next layer. I like the move from Minnesota. LA Galaxy are pushing for Joao Klaus of St. Louis. He would be the replacement for Ricky Puig, not in terms of style of play, but in roster slots. They need production now. The Galaxy are historically aggressive, and with Joseph Paintsil, with Gabriel Peck, they need somebody who can score goals more than they need the direct Ricky Puig replacement. So go lean into that. Klaus is going to need to get on the end of things from Peck and Paintsil, but he's also going to need to occupy space to create opportunities for those two wingers coming inside. Now let's go to the business side. Sporting Kansas City, we've talked about it this week, selling at $700 million. It matters. It's a big deal. That's up. Last year they were rated at being worth $650 million. Now the average MLS club is worth over $700 million. Multiple clubs are over $1 billion. MLS is now a mature investment league for buyers rather than just speculative. In WSL, some moves off the field. Boston Legacy, they've added Voya Financial as a new sponsor. Denver have added LaCroix as a training kit sponsor. Expansion teams arriving with some real corporate backing and kind of raising that profile. You start to see these sponsors come on, and you're like, oh, wait a minute. We want to be part of that. Around the corner from everywhere, around the corner on the SDH Network, John Nelson hosting SDH AM this morning on YouTube and Twitch. You'll hear some audio from MLS training camps. You'll also get some conversation about those Atlanta United transfer rumors. Your guests in the second hour of the show, it's the Power Hour. Nino Torres joins to talk about South America and Portugal and Spain. Nico Moreno from Pulso Sports out in Seattle joins to talk about MLS and CONCACAF and whatever else is on their minds. On the website, Madison Cruz and I caught up with Brad Kazan for Atlanta Soccer Tonight on Tuesday. If you didn't hear that, you can listen to it and you can read our feature on the interview over at soccerdownhere.net. You can also check out our feature on William Cardona, the American player playing for Vanuatu United in the OFC Pro League. A great interview with John Nelson and William Cardona on SDH AM this week. We're always around the corner from everywhere, even Vanuatu. The Refill. Inter in Italy are opening talks with Emiliano Martinez. Dibu, not a bid. It's more of like a feasibility study at this point. Checking on his availability, checking on what kind of salary he wants, checking on his willingness. Internazionale planning a little bit. IFAB, they are good with VAR expanding to cover second yellow cards and clearly wrong corners, only if it doesn't delay restarts. They are talking about the time-wasting crackdown that we've seen in MLS Next Pro and in MLS on goal kicks, on throw-ins, on substitutions. The Canadian Premier League is going to trial Arsene Wenger's daylight offside rule. This is a big offside experiment. I'm very curious to see how it plays out. Kiniska, they are partnering with the FIFA Women's Champions Cup. It's about building a global women's club ecosystem. Like this partnership, the FIFA Women's Champions Cup, it's the prelude to a full FIFA Women's Club World Cup that'll be coming in the upcoming years. CAF, the Champions League, their competitions return for match day 3 this weekend. That will get you to the midpoint of their Champions League format. It's where the qualification races usually turn. On our picks of the week on Soccer Over There this week, we talked about what should be the biggest game of the round. It's Friday, Mamelodi Sundowns hosting Al Hilal of Sudan. Two top teams, two teams that are leading their group. It should be a really big game, and you should be able to watch that on BN Sports. CAF's AFCON team of the tournament is out as well. Sadio Mane was named the player of the tournament there. 4 Moroccan players in the team of the tournament. I think it was 7 total from Morocco and Senegal, which you would expect as they both got to the final. Lucas Zidane, he is going to be suspended for 2 games, but it will only be an AFCON competition, so he will not be suspended for World Cup matches. This is because of the afters in Algeria's elimination match in AFCON. So he will not miss World Cup, but he will miss the next 2 AFCON qualifiers. Pedri, news out this morning from Barcelona. He's going to miss 4 to 5 weeks. That's a huge issue for Barca. Potentially 5 to 7 matches, possibly Champions League playoff legs. Frankie de Jong suspended on top of that. Lamine Yamal has signed a deal with American Eagle. Did not have that one on my bingo card. He's a global ambassador now, and it's American Eagle's first ever multi-year global partnership with an active player. 5-year deal. Look at Lamine Yamal and the American Eagle. Nice. Jorge Sampaoli, our old friend, former Argentina manager, former Chile manager. He is at Atletico Mineiro, and he erupted after the opposing manager made a derogatory gesture about his height, basically calling him shorty. Tempers flared. You had a goal disallowed. You had tension spilling over on the touchline in this match in the Campeonato Mineiro. Players, officials had to intervene to prevent Sampaoli getting into a fist fight with the other guy. It's Jorge Sampaoli. I mean, it's not exactly a surprise that he's getting into it with people because that's kind of what he does. But yes, he's still doing what he does. And we'll finish with the Copa Argentina. It was really fun to watch this last night. It was also in our picks of the week on soccer over there. Midland. Yes, that's an Argentine club. Midland. I know. It's from the old railroad side of things. Club's over 100 years old. They just recently earned promotion to the second division. They knocked out Argentinos Juniors on penalties. The standout hero was Midland's goalkeeper, Mauro Leguiza. He had a series of crucial saves during the shootout. It went to the 8th round after making a big save. Then he stepped up to convert on the winning penalty. Just a resolute performance from Midland. They were down 1-0. They scored in the second half to tie this thing up, and then they go to the shootout and win. It's the magic of the Cup. It's the magic of the Copa Argentina, where games are played on neutral sites, but you get huge crowds. I mean, the crowds that followed Midland there, it was amazing to watch this stuff. Such a cool night in the Copa Argentina. That'll do it for this edition of the Morning Espresso. Thanks, as always, for starting your day with us. Thanks for being part of what we're building here at the SDH Network. Reminder, SDH AM, if you don't catch it live, you can always catch it on demand on YouTube, on Twitch, also as a podcast that'll go out this afternoon. Tomorrow, I'll be back with another edition of the Morning Espresso, and then tomorrow afternoon, we'll have an interview with Matt Edwards from Atlanta United preseason training camp. Enjoy your soccer today, and don't forget tonight, if you're doing the late night thing on the radio, I will be on The Intersection at 10 o'clock on 92.9 The Game, along with Noel White and Miles Williams. We'll be talking a little bit of soccer, but also a little bit of whatever else is on our minds. There's a lot of stuff to talk about in Atlanta sports. We'll get into all that tonight, 10 o'clock, 92.9 The Game, and the Odyssey app. Y'all have a good Thursday. I'll be back tomorrow with another edition of the Morning Espresso.